Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to another episode of Portland Downtown Podcast. And, happy holidays. I hope everybody's doing well. We're live from the 8x8. And if you know what's up, you know what's up. And if you don't, you just don't. But anyways, we are here live in downtown Portland, and today I have the honor and the privilege to have a special guest. Now, he's not no ordinary guest. This man here is Mr. Jim. Jim, you mind saying hello to...
Hi, everybody. How you doing tonight? Friday night, the 8x8.
There you go. And so my friend here, Jim, he claims to have a couple encounters with Bigfoot. That's right, Bigfoot. And recently I had an episode on touching that topic with Bigfoot. We're in Oregon. We're close to Washington, borderline Washington, and there's just a lot of like I mentioned before my other episode that. There's just a lot of people who believe in Bigfoot, and then there's just a lot who just simply don't, And what's your take on that, Jim?
My take on it is, after seeing it, I know it's real.
Okay.
There's nothing anybody can do to convince me that it's not real.
Okay.
I've been Oregonian. I was raised with hearing stories about him since I was 8 years old.
Wow. So you were raised here in Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. So that's like how many years? Like
I'm 70 years old now.
How old?
70.
Wow. So that's a lot.
Grants.
That's a lot of years, man.
Mm-hmm.
That is wow. So ever since you were 8,
yeah,
you heard
of these creatures, these big ape men of the mountains. We go camping up at the base of Mount St. Helens at a place called Swift Reservoir. We'd be out there camping, and my dad would be talking to us as we're all getting ready to go. The kids are getting ready to go to sleep in the tents, and he's telling us about these giant ape men that live up here in the mountains and stuff. Great thing to tell the 8-year-old kids before you put them in the tents to sleep out in the middle of nowhere, right?
Wow. Yeah, that's that. So I mean, I could just imagine, being a boy pretty much, and just growing up. Growing up hearing about these things and about these creatures. I mean, that in itself is pretty much like, it's kind of like it was part of your culture almost.
Yeah,
it's part of the culture almost out here in Oregon and Washington area.
Yeah.
About these Bigfoots.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? So I mean, with that said, I mean, what was your first encounter? Like your first encounter of one of these things?
First encounter of one of these things was about 1971 or 72, and I had just graduated high school, and we had a cabin at the base of Mount Hood, which is a mountain out here not far from where we're at, 40-50 miles from where we're sitting right now.
Nice.
And there was a town out there called Wildwood, and so we had this cabin out there, an A-frame cabin.
Yeah.
And we're here in town. It was Friday night or Saturday night.
Right.
And we're having a good time in town. Then we're going to go out there at the end of the night and just chill out. And we got out there. It's probably 1 o'clock. I was with one of my friends.
It was 1 o'clock, like in the afternoon, or?
Oh no, evening. Yeah.
At night.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's dark and stuff.
Yeah, it was dark. It was a I don't remember whether it was. I wouldn't say it was a full moon, but it was enough that you could see through the trees and you could see the stars. It was a starry night. I remember that.
Yeah.
And we get out there, and I'm out in the back of the A-frame because I didn't have a key. I couldn't find my key, so I'm trying to get in the back window of the A-frame. But I kept feeling like I was being watched from the forest. Just got an eerie feeling like I'm being watched. And we were raising half wolves and half collies and shepherds and stuff like that. So we had a lowland wolf out there named Thor. And, he came running up to me, and I'm on the back porch. I'm trying to get into the back window, and I'm playing with my knife, and I'm trying to get in through there. And I asked my friend Ish to go back to his pickup truck and go see if he could find like a coat hanger or some wire or something there. So he takes off around the side of the A-frame, and these cabins were like, you know, maybe 60 or 80 feet of trees cut out in the forest, and then a little cabin put in there, and then over a ways there'd be another one, and then there'd be another one. And this went around like a giant horseshoe for about a mile, and that was called the town of Wildwood. Okay. So it was very remote. There was no lights or anything, no street lights or anything. We had a light up at the very top of our A-frame, and I think that's why these creatures came down, because ours was the only light on that night. And so I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get in the back window. I kept feeling it's like I'm being watched. I keep looking back by the forest. It was kind of eerie. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden Thor jumps up and runs off the back of the porch, leaps out into the brush, makes about a 60-foot circle around, and comes running up behind me, runs up under my legs with his tail tucked between his legs. And he was barking like a dog. Wolves don't bark like dogs. Whoa. And so I'd seen this.
So the wolf was scared.
He was freaking out. Yeah, he was cowering, expecting me to protect him. He's
Whoa.
He's
so it's a wolf, like a wolf.
Yeah. He was a lowland collie bred with a wolf.
Wow.
So he was a collie and a wolf mix.
But usually those type of breeds don't just get scared or know, very easily.
He's chased black bear and all kinds of stuff through the forest. I've seen him chasing wild big animals out of the forest, so you don't get scared.
So he was intimidated for whatever it is that he saw.
And he barked like a dog, which I'd never ever heard him barking like a dog. He's very, very silent and quiet. He would howl, but he would not bark like a dog. Wow. This time he's like, rah, 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 rah. He just made this, jumped off the porch, made a big circle out there and ran up and hit him. And then I'm like going, whoa, okay, so time to get in faster, you know. So I'm trying to figure out how to get into the window a little bit faster. And then a few, like maybe 10 seconds later, he does it again. Only this time, instead of him going to run off and jump off to the side of the A-frame, I decide to follow him. So he jumps, he's running a few seconds ahead of me, and I run around the edge, and I peek my head around the edge of the A-frame like that, and from here to that pillar right there, all of a sudden this big thing crashes out alongside. There's about a 3-foot gravel runway that went alongside the A-frame, and this thing crashes out of the brush. And he was as tall as this room. Like that. His head was up there, and on the back, he was like almost as wide as that.
Wow.
Huge.
So it was a huge thing
like
King
freaking Kong, 8 feet away. You know, 8-9 feet tall.
So you're able to see
his back.
His back. He was turned around.
Yeah, he was walking away.
Oh, he was walking away.
Yeah, he was he was essentially either Thor, Thor let me know he was there. And he realized now Thor had given him up twice. Yeah. So now he's like, no more stealth. And so at that moment, I had hair that was down to about here,
long hair.
Yeah, super long hair. My hair went straight up into the sky, man. It was like my kundalini went off.
Yeah.
And then fear of the unknown hit, and I like leaped over the back of the back deck and landed on the ground. And now I've been researching these things for over 50 years, over 5 decades. Yeah. And I've heard 1,000 people tell stories of seeing them and stuff. And so many people that I've heard tell the stories say things about time stopping and all this kind of crazy stuff. Well, for me, I had the same event happen that all these other people have. When I jumped over and I landed on the earth behind me, time disappeared and the cabin disappeared. There was no more cabin. And I'm like sitting on the ground like that, and all I saw was like time disappeared, cabin was no longer there, and I saw this big flash. It said 200,000. And so I felt like I was back in time 200,000 years, and I'm back on the earth, and there's like these ancient entities, right? I don't know what, there's one. And then as soon as I hit the ground like that, all of a sudden, and I was thinking like fear of the unknown.
Right.
I mean, this is freaking crazy, man. I'm like, well, whoa, the most crazy fear shit you can.
That's insane. So when you saw this creature, when you saw this creature, he was already like walking out. Do you think that he saw you or he knew you were there, or
at that
did he notice you at all?
Well, see, that's what I realized. For the moment that I saw his back, and the first thing that amazed me about his back is his muscle, like a lot of people say these creatures don't have necks. He had a neck, but he had muscles so packed up here. Just,
right.
I mean, unbelievable
Just
pack of
big,
muscles.
like
beyond,
powerful creature. That's pretty much.
Yeah, like the people you see the world's strongest men, and they're pulling semis and shit like that.
But
he could have folded 2 of those dudes up and put them on his shoulders.
Yeah,
like
that's
that kind of a muscle pack.
Wow.
And I'm like looking at him going, if this.
But did he have hair? Was he have hair?
Oh, he was completely covered. Looked like a grizzly bear or something like that.
Yeah.
He was completely covered with hair.
That's insane.
But his muscle pack was a thing that astounded me. How just unbelievable muscles, and to where you could see that he couldn't turn his head. It's like we can turn our head like that, and you can look over there. He wouldn't be able to do that because his muscles are up here. His head would hit his muscles.
Wow.
So most of the time, everybody says they see him, they say they don't look like they have a neck. It's just because their muscles are so enormous. His arms were big, way bigger around than my legs. And like, it was amazing because he took like 3, I remember it was like 3 strides almost. Like there wasn't even steps. It was like almost like he was floating. It took 3 steps, 1, 2, and then he was around in the front of the deal. And, and all this happened like so fast. As I'm seeing him go around the corner, that's when I'm going off the back, boom, I'm hitting there. And all of a sudden, I look out right in front of me, which is that way, back where the Sandy River was, and I saw what I thought was another energy field of one out there. And I heard a voice say to me, and now it's recorded now in all the annals of the Bigfoot research people, they call it mind speak. Or telepathic communication.
Telekinesis speaking type of thing. Okay.
10,000 other people have claimed that they've heard it too. It's mind speak. They call it mind speak.
Right.
Where these creatures have speak to them, or you hear it in your mind. And what I saw over there, it was like I knew it was a female way back in the woods behind where this male was. Right? I knew this thing was a male. For some reason, I didn't see genitalia or whatever, but I knew he was a male from his presence.
You felt his energy. It was like masculine energy. Okay.
And then the other one.
So there was another one.
Yeah, and the other one was about maybe 50 feet or so back in the brush back there, but I could kind of see. I could almost see like a form back because there was still light coming through the trees and stuff. And then immediately, because I'm still in this heavy-duty state of fear, right? Mm-hmm. And so immediately, this one spoke to me and said to me, and it was like a female. I knew immediately it was a female. Said, "What are those lights in the sky?" Asked me a question, and I'm like, "What?" I'm going, whoa. I said, I'm thinking, wait a second. This one out here is asking me, "What are these the lights in the sky?" And I'm like going, "What the hell is going on here?" And then I realized, oh my God. These things aren't monsters. These are like some ancient tribe. Yeah. And this one's a female, and that's a male. And she's asking me about the lights in the sky. I'm looking up and I'm going, holy shit, is she talking about the stars? Oh my God, she's asking me what are the fucking stars? Excuse me, what are the fucking stars?
Yeah.
You know? And so I tried to make a picture of like, okay, they have to see the sun come and rise every day and close down and rise. And so I'm trying to show her a picture that the stars are like the sun, but like a long ways away. So immediately my fear ended. Yeah. Immediately when I realized, oh my God, these are my people. These aren't like some monsters. And now, because of my upbringing, I knew what it was immediately. When I saw it, I go from my upbringing from 8 years old, I go, oh, this is the thing that my dad's been telling me about since I was a kid.
Bigfoot.
These are these giant ape-like creatures that live out here in the mountains of Oregon, right?
Okay, so Jim, that's very intriguing, man. That's from a lot of claims, right? And you're right. I mean, a lot of people who have these encounters, you know, which is a lot of them. It's a lot. To this day, there's a lot of people who claim to have
hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, thousands of encounters. But the question is this: like, are these creatures more than just like beasts or barbarian animals? It seems like you had almost like a spiritual experience almost with these creatures, because they were able to communicate with you, in a sense where with using their mind, using almost their spirit. And the thing is this, that a lot of people claim that these are more, that they're very, very spiritually advanced creatures. That they're not just dumb beasts. Excuse me. That they're more than that. They're very spiritually advanced compared to humans.
Absolutely.
And you brought that up, that they've been here thousands of years ago, and that's what a lot of people claim also, because when we look back to history, if we look back in history, they've been here for thousands and thousands of years. Any culture and every culture you look into, they always speak about these beasts, these creatures. And
Yes. When the indigenous people of this land came, and the pioneers came over here, and the indigenous people of the lands that here tried to explain to them that not only were they ancient people and an ancient tribe, but they were also they called them spirits, or they called them spirit beings, because they believed that they could walk through dimensions, that they could either be here in the physical world that we're in, or be in a different world somewhere where they dwell.
Yeah,
and there's like a little
that's
veil,
kind of
they step back.
That's kind of what gives them that's why when you hear about these stories, you always hear a witness speak about the stealthiness, how they could just like wither, appear and disappear in the woods as they please. It's almost as if like if they want to be seen, they'll allow themselves to be seen, and if they don't want to be seen, they'll just disappear. It's like if they have these abilities.
Absolutely. There's so much research that's been being done on them. I've recently been doing a lot of research with the channel. I listen to probably every day, even for the last 5 years, I listen to 10 reports from people around the world every day for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So, 10 people a day for the last 10 years. So that's, 3,500 people that I've listened to that have told me their stories. And out of the 3,500 people that have told me their stories, I would say 100 of them talk about time disappearing. The forest will go quiet. Every creature in the forest goes silent. It'll be in the forest, and all of a sudden, everything will go silent. So these are symbols, so that if people are out there,
these are signs.
Signs that you're out there in the forest. All of a sudden, the crickets stop, the chipmunks stop, the sounds of the forest cease. Be aware that you're either coming near a portal. One of the things. There's people. So many people now have described actually seeing them step out of portals.
Wow.
Like if you look on the road out there during a hot summer day, and you'll see the road shimmer like that. Yeah. So you can imagine in the forest seeing that on a path, somewhere in the forest, like a shimmering. They've actually seen these creatures step out of these, almost like a mirror type portals.
Dimensions.
Yes.
Portals. Yeah. So, Jim, another question, which I pretty much brought up in my last episode, is that, for all these people that witness these creatures, these things, these Bigfoots, I believe that most of them just don't even get reported.
Yeah.
Because with that said, that proves that there's more of these encounters than what we actually know of. Because I've said it before. You tell anybody, you go, especially nowadays, you go up to anybody, tell them, hey man, I seen a Bigfoot. They're gonna look at you like you're fucking, you're on drugs or something, and you think that's that's a big reason why a lot of people just rather brush it off and then like not even mention it, or try to report these things, because you think that's a big reason, that a lot of people don't report these things, because most people are not going to believe it.
Yeah, and because of the humiliation involved with it. What's going on right now is the research has moved towards, not do they exist. There's so much DNA evidence to prove that they exist. There's footprints, DNA, eyewitnesses, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of eyewitnesses from every culture, every time, etc.
Yeah.
But the question is, why are we being lied to by the authorities of the world that tell us that they don't exist and make it as a joke? It's like the joke is you've got a flying saucer, Elvis and Bigfoot are in it.
Yeah.
Okay. So they've put that into the mainframe humanity to make it that way. So it will be such a joke that nobody will talk about it, nobody will speak about it. But the question is why?
Yeah.
Why have they done this? So what's the reason for that?
And I'm gonna flip that on you. Like, you've been around, longer than I have. So you could probably answer this question better than I can. What do you think is the reason why the government of the United States, because it's almost like they're trying to hide, or they're just trying to hide and avoid, this topic of these creatures that live in they're clearly all over the United States in our woods, in our forests.
And they're appearing more and more frequently. There's more being sighted and seen now than ever before. There's more wood structures being built all over the world. There's like these teepee type structures. Why
do you think the government hides it though, Jim?
I think the government's hiding it because it has something to do with off-world stuff. And they, for years and years, told us that UFOs were fantasy and cartoons.
And then they admitted it.
And now they're admitting that it's real.
Yeah, they admitted it recently about, this year, last year, or something like that?
Yeah, and so they're doing a soft disclosure. And I believe that these creatures have to do with that as well. That somehow there's a relationship having to do with them and the UFO phenomenon. Because 85% of the time that a UFO sighting has happened, these creatures are somewhere nearby. Either they and there's been certain people that have seen them actually being down.
Yeah, which is another subject that I've been, UFO. I can't wait to make an episode about that. But which I am real soon. But the thing is this. Well, I mean, if you're the government, what would you benefit off of lying to the people? And just
Well, maybe because you don't want the people to realize that these creatures are out there and that there's a gentleman named David Pilates that has done a whole series of research. He put a bunch of books called 411 out there, and the books have to do with the disappearances of human beings in the Forest Park Service areas of Americas and stuff. And there's tens of thousands of there might be fear. There's a lot of money involved in the park systems,
Yeah, Jim. Okay. So you had an encounter with these things, with a couple of these creatures, and now my next question to you is, Jim, do you think Bigfoots are evil, or do you think that they're good? Or it could be vice versa, or I don't know. Do you think these are evil creatures that kill people, or they're just a civilization that's kind of trying to mind their own business?
I believe that they are a civilization that's been here from the beginning of biology on our planet.
Okay.
And I believe that their civilization has witnessed a huge amount of things, and that they have been involved with off-world stuff. And I believe that their civilization is as ours. There's some bad ones, some bad. You've got the Jeffrey Dahmers in our civilization, and you've got the Mother Teresa's.
Okay, I see.
So in their civilization, I would expect they have the same.
Okay, so I mean, because there has been cases where where these creatures has killed people, and are pretty much disappear people. And then there's other experiences and encounters where these people have kind of like you, spiritual experiences, and have more of a positive thing. They say that these things, Bigfoots are territorial. There's they say that they're kind. Some people say that they're evil. So it's like I don't know. It's a little bit of both. But what was your most recent encounter?
My most recent encounter was back in 1986, I believe, and I was at a place so it was like an overlook somewhere up above Forest Park up in Portland, and I was up there, and I was driving back along a road that went out to the Beaverton Hillsdale Highway, Highway 26, and I'm in the forest out there, and I'm in a Volkswagen van again, and I'm hitting first gear, second gear, third gear, and all of a sudden the whole back of the van felt like 1,000 pounds grabbed a hold of it and was pulling it to the ground, and I'm like going, what, and I looked out my window. I didn't see anything, and I thought maybe the transmission went out or something like that, and I threw it back into second gear and then first gear, and then I felt like a bump, like something like a let go or something like that, and then I went boom, boom again, and the second time I looked at my side view mirror, I could have sworn that I saw a big friggin' hairy arm.
No.
Yeah. And and I literally freaked out, and I'm and again it started pulling my van, and this part of the forest, it's like there's like forest all over. It's just like a tunnel.
Yeah.
There's no lights or anything.
Yeah.
It was like just my only set of lights going out to the Beaverton Hillsdale Highway.
What time was?
Probably 1 o'clock in the morning.
Once again.
Yeah.
Late in the evening, huh?
All the research I've done for over 50 years. Between 2 and 4 a.m. are most of the sightings.
Right.
And it's a tremendous amount of hunters. If you want to hear stories, talk to deer hunters and talk to elk hunters, and they're going to tell you stories. Because it's like early in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like 3
o'clock.
o'clock.
So these creatures tend to come. Yeah. It's like the time that they come along. Now, okay, you said so. This Bigfoot was trying to he was
stop me for some reason in the middle of the forest. Yeah, and later I find out from a friend of mine that's part Native American that there's supposed to be some caves that go from Mount St. Helens up into that region underneath the two rivers, and Columbia River and the Willamette River. They come up into Forest Park and they go all the way over to Mount St. Helens. Supposedly, this is one of my Native American friends, and he had a brother that had an experience almost in the same place as my experience. But he thought it had to do with he claimed it was he felt that it was like a tractor beam or something but it was weird. Yeah. Anyway, mine was a little bit more, intense.
Do you think these Bigfoots have the ability to I don't know, levitate and I mean it's pretty clear that these creatures are not like us. We're pretty limited. Human beings, we're pretty limited as, to the things that we could do. Yeah, no, our capabilities, that's, compared to, these creatures. Yeah, it seems like these creatures almost have mystical or superpowers. Mm-hmm. Where they could disappear, they could appear, they have superhuman strength. Mm-hmm. They they could float, they could levitate, they could read your mind, they could send you messages, they could talk to you. They could do all these things, and it's almost as these creatures are just clearly way more advanced than your normal human.
Absolutely.
And that's the scary. I believe that's the scary part about this whole subject. And I don't know, maybe that's what I don't know. Maybe that's what the government is trying to hide from the people. From the people, that there's there's creatures out there that's been here longer than us, and they're more advanced than us. Because in society, mm-hmm. we like to think that we are
the apex.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. We're the top.
We like. According to society, mm-hmm. we like to think that we human beings are fucking above it all in this world, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. That we're there's no other living creature on earth that could surpass us. We are the most mm-hmm. intelligent, the most we're number one, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what society
Yeah,
you know,
we
try to keep
believe in.
now.
That's what's built society.
Imagine the day that becomes threatened, you know, by another civilization. I mean,
It's already it is threatened by these creatures because
that will cause mayhem and literally a war. Like, imagine these creatures, these Bigfoots, one day just start roaming the streets and just start killing people and just like, you know, we start going at it with them.
We've talked about that.
We will not stand a chance.
Absolutely, we would not.
Because these guys would they'll disappear, eat one of us, you know, bite someone's head off, disappear, you know what I mean, and then pop up again and kill, you know, like these things, we will have no chance. I mean, besides the superhuman strength, I mean, just with the ability of being able to like disappear, appear, have, you know, they're probably able to, you know, communicate with each other just by, you know, using their minds. I mean, they'll set up traps. I mean, they will kill us. We'll be snacks to them, man.
Well, we have been now in.
We will be, you know, it will be, yeah.
Groups that we've been researching with right now there's doctors, there's PhDs, there's people that are working in the you know, atomic industry and stuff like that are coming in. They're telling us that these creatures now have actually, these entities, I'm going to call them entities.
Yes.
These entities now have been being sighted on the inside of our missile silo installations. Like actually they will see them outside with the camera, and then they will see them walking down the subterranean corridors within the complex.
Wow.
Like that somehow they get in there and somehow they get out. They've seen them
As they please.
jump, yes.
Wow.
They've seen them jump over 15-foot high triple barbed wire barricade.
No, that's nothing.
And so many people that have seen them face to face look at them and they say they look at us or at the person describing this with such disdain.
Yeah.
They look at them like, if I could kill you right now, I would love to kill you and all the humans on Earth. Now, why would they do that? If you can look at it, you can look at our civilization. What we've done is we've contaminated this world to where we're at a thing called the 6th great extinction of this planet.
Wow.
And that's primarily occurred because of the human species. It's called Homo sapiens sapiens. That's us.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be honest. You know what? I wouldn't doubt it if in reality we are the threat. Maybe imagine these creatures been here. Imagine, okay, they've been here before us. So we're the Bigfoots.
Like what are we?
They're probably like, who are these people right here, man? They be tripping, like, you know.
Well, what the Native Americans say, they say they were trading with them until we came and we destroyed the Native American empire. When we came and we took all of the disease blankets and gave to all the Indian tribes and stuff like that. We killed their populations. These forest people saw that and they stepped even further back into the forest. So they don't want to come anywhere near us. Right. They see us destroy our own kind. They see us at war with each other. They see the things that happen in the forest where our guys take bodies and bury them in the forest. And so they're disgusted with who we are. Yeah, they are. But we've also been told by certain groups there's certain groups that are in touch with them and communicate with them. Yeah. And they're told us that there's certain laws that they have to abide by, one of which is that they're not allowed to not allowed to kill us. Now, there may be some renegades that aren't listening to those laws. Mm-hmm. You know, if there is a bunch of, you know, entities like Jeffrey Dahmer running around in your village and you were told not to touch them, but you knew what they were capable of, would you maybe silently have you and a few of your boys take care of them on the side? So there might be a few of these renegade Bigfoot creatures that are doing that in the human family. You know?
My boy Jim, you're just so...
I've been researching 50
you're
years.
just so filled with so much information, man. This is well, you know what, man? This absolutely has been a great episode.
Food for thought.
Yeah, food for thought. You know, we'll let that marinate now. But you know what, man? This has been another episode of Portland Downtown Podcast, reporting live from the 8x8. Now, thank you very much, Jim. You know, I really appreciate you, you know, being a part of this. And
Food for thought.
Yeah. So Bigfoot, people have seen them. Many people have seen them. They're still out there lurking in the woods, looking at us. But are they the threat? Or is it us that is the threat? Well, are they here to help us, or are they here to destroy us? These creatures that are obviously more spiritually advanced, well, they have super strength. They could appear, disappear as they please. But while you're out in the woods, man, just remember, you're always being watched. Thank you very much, man. I hope you have a good one. And stop playing, man. We're out here right now.